Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Arnella and this is Niles. And I make videos on writing as well as classic literature. So today's video is about stress, the great enemy of creativity. More specifically, it's my personal take on it along with my top 3 tips on how to deal with stress. And this is actually a collab. I have teamed up with Angela here, so once you're done watching this, I suggest you hop on over to her channel and check out her video. So why don't you make yourself comfortable with a nice cup of tea or any other beverage of your choice, and let's get into it. Let me start off by saying that I'm actually a rather anxious person in general. I get easily stressed if I don't plan things in advance or have a working structure of my everyday life. My 2 worst enemies are surprises and spontaneity, which should probably tell you quite a lot about me, to be honest. But life doesn't always respect that. In fact, from time to time, it is the very opposite of structured and predictable and manageable. And not just for writers, I believe anyone can experience a bit of difficulty every now and then. So this brings me to my first tip. What do you do when life throws a huge amount of stuff your way and you just can't see how you're going to find the time to get everything done? You make a list, and not just any list, a structured list. What I like to do is to divide my tasks into categories of small, medium and large. A small task is something that can be done within a few minutes or so, or just something that doesn't require a lot of energy. These are usually life-related rather than work or writing-related. Examples of this would be to pay the bills or doing the dishes. Medium tasks are somewhere in between, and they can be both life-related or writing or work-related. So as a writer who needs to do a bit of marketing, I usually put social media things here, like posting on Instagram or make a blog post or watching and supporting other writers on YouTube. The large tasks are, in my case, usually writing or marketing related. It could be finish editing a chapter for my manuscript, make a video for YouTube, or do some critique reading for a writer friend. All of these things can take from a couple of hours up to several days to finish. And aside from being time-consuming, they also require a lot of intellectual energy, if that makes sense. So that's why I think they belong in this category. The wonderful thing about lists is that you can personalize these to fit your life situation and workload. Make a list for 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. It's all up to you. As well as how many small, medium or large tasks you can get done in that amount of time. One thing that I also like to do is to set up milestones for larger tasks. For example, the current milestone for my writing is to finish edit the 3rd draft of my manuscript. And when I reach that milestone, I'm going to reward myself. There is a bottle of champagne waiting in the fridge that I'm going to share with my boyfriend Oscar as a kind of celebration. I love celebrating milestones, and especially with a loved one, because not only do you get to look forward to finishing a project, you will also get to share those moments with someone who supports you and wants you to do well. And that's just a lovely thing to help you move forward into the next thing. And this brings me to tip number 2. Find your inspiration. When we are inspired to do something, whether it's writing or painting or even studying, we tend to get a lot more done, as well as being more satisfied with our results. But of course, we can never rely on inspiration to find us when we need it. What we can do, however, is hunt it down ourselves. Personally, I get inspired by movies and documentaries about people who overcome their struggles and achieve their goals. That really inspires me to work hard on my own goal, which is to become a published author. I also love going to museums, especially art or history related exhibitions. Not exactly sure why, but it inspires me to create stories with unique characters and places. It might seem like a waste of time to watch a movie or go to a museum when I have a long list of tasks to get done. But if I know that it's going to make me more excited to work on that list, not only will I be more efficient, I will also enjoy it a lot more. What is it that inspires you to work on your goals? Let me know in the comments. Then we get to our third and final tip. Keep your breaks short but frequent. This one might just be a personal preference, but I found that more and more people agree with it, so I thought I would share this here as well. I really believe that taking a break is super important, but what I've realized is that when I take like a whole weekend away from my manuscript, I tend to get detached from it. And what I mean by this is that I find it a lot harder to get back into editing or writing mode once the break is over. But if I keep the break short, like let's say an evening or a couple of hours, I will still have my thoughts on it quite fresh in my memory, and I will therefore have a much easier time getting back into editing mode when I need to. I found that keeping my breaks short but frequent will help me in charging my creative batteries, so to speak, and it helps me stay focused in the long run. Now, we all have periods in our lives that are harder than others, where there's more pressure and stress than usual. I thought I would share with you all the struggles I went through when I wrote my bachelor's thesis at university. If you are or have been a university student, then you might be able to relate to this. So my major was history, and for my thesis I had decided to do research on the development of a theatre building here in my hometown, built around the 1890s. As my source material, I had decided to use newspaper articles from that time that I had found to be digitalized on an online platform that I could access from home, so that was perfect. So I basically planned my entire process around this. Everything was going great. I found a lot of useful information through these digitalized articles, and then I found that one of the newspapers that I needed, a big one too, had not, in fact, been scanned yet. I remember this moment when I first found out about this. I just stared at the website's empty search results. Like I couldn't even process what had happened. So it was a bit of chaos management at first. I had to rework the whole plan for my research and also the time I would have to write the whole thing. And I found that I had no other choice but to go down to the city archives and get these rolls of microfilm on which the newspaper was printed, and you could read it by putting the microfilm into this projector device. The issue with this is that I lost the ability to search for specific keywords. So I ended up spending 3 weeks going to the city archives and reading hundreds of newspapers manually for about 4 hours a day. Trust me, it was a nightmare. I was so stressed out and completely thrown off balance by this sudden bump on the road. But in the end, I still managed to make my deadline, in large part thanks to a rigorous system of list making, prioritizing, and time management. So that was my take on how to deal with stress. I suggest you head on over to Angela's channel to check out her video. And I do in fact have a little teaser for you.
Hi, my name is Angela Ann, and I post creative living and writing videos over on my channel. Now that you're done watching Arnella's video, please feel free to check out my video to learn more tips about dealing with stress, and I hope you have a lovely day.
Now I'm curious to know whether you have any tips on how to deal with stress. Everyone is different after all, and what works for me might not work for someone else. Let me know in the comments. Niles and I thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you back next time.